Well, Republican lawmakers already calling for an investigation into the attempted assassination of former President Trump. Let's bring in Florida GOP Congresswoman Paulina Luna. Congresswoman, it's great to have you on the show. I want to play a little bit of sound here. This is the president talking about the investigation. Watch.
We do not know the motive of the shooter yet. We don't know his opinions or affiliations. We don't know whether he had help or support or if he communicated with anyone else. Law enforcement professionals, as I speak, are investigating those questions.
You want Congress to investigate. Specifically, Congresswoman, what are you looking for? What do you want them to focus on?
Correct. So I've actually asked Speaker Johnson, as well as a number of my other colleagues, to set up a select committee that has full subpoena authority to conduct a parallel investigation into what happened. The fact is that, we have the director of Secret Service who's agreed to give us a briefing, but that briefing has not happened yet. And in my opinion, that should have happened simultaneously, if not almost immediately. The fact that that hasn't happened yet is not really putting much faith, in my opinion, into their own abilities. And so I do think that right now, the number one question I have is why, was the president not provided with more Secret Service protection? Who is making those decisions? I want to remind Americans that Biden had actually denied Secret Service for RFK Jr. I do believe that he ultimately was the yes or no authority on whether or not President Trump had more protection. So what happened last night should have never happened. There was a gross drop in judgment, and we know that now. But the fact is that it is a divine intervention by God that President Trump is not dead right now. And so we need to do our best to hold and bring accountability to this.
The Hill says the following here: FBI investigating Trump assassination attempt as potential domestic terrorist act. It goes on to say at this point in the investigation, it appears that he was a lone actor, but we still have more investigation to go. We are investigating this as an assassination attempt, but also as a potential domestic terrorism act. Is it more important to get to the motive, which appears to be the fact that he wanted to kill the former president, or is it more important that we actually get to the security and how this happened in the first place?
I think it's multifaceted, because what happens in these types of events is it emboldens others. And just because this happened one time and it was unsuccessful does not mean that bad actors, to include our adversaries around the world, will not take note of this. And so we need to ensure that both angles are being hit, but also, too, that we are working with people that have a genuine interest in finding out the truth and what happened. And so I do look forward to conducting these investigations.
What do you think about when you hear some of these security people talking about there was a major breach, a major breakdown in what happened at that rally in Pennsylvania yesterday? What do you think about that? Is that why? Was that the motivation for you to call for these investigations?
I think it's, again, multifaceted. You're looking at the footage coming out of people that had been screaming that there was a shooter on the roof, and yet law enforcement, for whatever reason, was not able to neutralize the threat right then and there. Then you're also seeing that the way that Secret Service responded, and then also to how President Trump seemed to have been left out there in the open by agents who were fumbling to control their firearms. I mean, that in itself, I do respect our men and women in law enforcement, but that should have never happened. And so, again, we're talking about control of the free world here, and to think that people like this lone individual, I don't want to make any assumptions, but the fact is that he was well within range of any other, I think, elected official that would have never been tolerated. So why did this happen? And so we do need to do our due diligence and ensure that the truth is out there for the American people.
And we've been asking that now for the better part of 30+ hours. Congresswoman, thank you for coming on the show.
God bless.